Hello and welcome to Eco India, a sustainability magazine that puts the focus on innovations and solutions that help you make an informed choice to live a better tomorrow. Every week we bring you ideas from across India and Europe and the stories of people who make them possible. I'm Sanuta Raghu, coming to you from Mumbai in India. Over the next 30 minutes, find out why 3,000 trees may be cut down in the city of Mumbai. How an 80-year-old activist is helping save every drop of potable water. And how a fashion label is making clothes with pineapple leaves. Let's look at an issue that many emerging economies are having to grapple with. The city of opportunities, Mumbai, has more than 20 million residents today. To cater to a rising population and adapt to the needs of a modern world, the city is on a fast-paced development track. But not without collateral damage. A part of the Aarey forest and its farmland, which is Mumbai's green lung, may soon be razed to make way for a metro rail shed. Can environmental sustainability and modern-day development coexist? Our first story attempts to contextualize this pertinent issue.
This is Aarey. An oasis of trees, wildlife and water bodies in the heart of the northwestern suburbs of Mumbai. Stretching over 3,000 acres, the Aarey forest is bigger than 1,000 football stadiums and is home to nearly 500,000 trees, some of them the oldest in the city, as well as a 7,000 member strong indigenous tribe of Varli Adivasis. Carved out of the Sanjay Gandhi National Park, one of the few national parks in the world located within metropolitan boundaries, the trees here are often hailed as the green lungs of Mumbai. They filter the air for the 20 million people who live in the city. But a substantial portion of this green cover is now under threat, following the state government's decision to set up a metro train depot and station within the forest area. A ruling that will require the cutting down of more than 3,000 trees.
So our main concern or main aim is to address the traffic problem, to take off some of the load from the public transport network. This system will provide connectivity to 3 million people and will give them a much better way of transport. That's the first part. The other part is it will address the pollution problem in the city. When the system is commissioned, 0.45 million vehicle trip will go off-road.
Officials maintain that the metro depot and station will use up only 33 hectares of forest land. But experts and activists have no doubt that this construction will destroy its fragile ecology, as well as displace the Varlis, the original inhabitants of the region.
अभी मेरा जो वाड़ी है जहाँ पे हम लोग भाजी वगैरह लगाते हैं.
In the yard that we have here, apart from vegetables, we've grown about 250 trees. Some are fruit trees, others are flowering. They cut down 15 of those trees, and when we asked them if they had permission to cut them down, they said the municipal corporation had given them permission.
The Varli tribe, including those like Asha Bhoy, have been farming and foraging in Aarey and the Sanjay Gandhi National Park for centuries. But almost none of them have documents to prove ownership of the land. Lakshmi Gaikwards is one of the 60-odd families that have been made to relocate from their home in the forest to 250 square feet apartments under a government slum rehabilitation scheme. Adjusting to the change, however, has been anything but easy.
I lost more than 1 acre of land. When I lived there, I would be out and about, collecting firewood, planting vegetables. Back then, I used to sell my crops and make about 200 or 300 rupees. It would help me run my house. Now I don't know what to do or how to earn.
Green activists will tell you that the government had 7 alternative sites for building the metro depot, all of which were finally rejected.
It's a dangerous situation where you have high temperatures and high pollution levels. These forests are the last remaining green spaces in the city of Mumbai, and they give you the oxygen and the lower temperatures that we need to survive in this city. This city is livable only because of these forests.
Let's see the situation holistically. We would be affecting around 6,000 trees. I'm saying affecting because not every tree is cut. About 50% of trees are relocated, they are transplanted. These 6,000 trees would give us a benefit of about 130 metric ton of absorption of carbon dioxide per year. While the benefit of this project is 2.6 lakh ton of carbon dioxide emission per year. It's a 2,000 time benefit.
कोर्ट ने खुद ऑर्डर दिया है कि जब तक मेट्रो का अलाइनमेंट फाइनलाइज नहीं होता है, नो ट्री शुड बी कट. ये मेट्रो 7 के लिए बोला है जो हाईवे पे.
Many citizen collectives in Mumbai, like the Aarey Conservation Group, have been doing all they can to save Aarey. But for Warli Adivasis, for whom the forest has always been home, saving Aarey is a matter of life and death.
They describe whatever's happening in Mumbai today as development, but to our mind it's more of a destruction. Development can not only mean the metro or big malls or bullet trains. Shouldn't development also include forests, mountains and trees? Just like we leave funds in the bank for our children, we want to leave behind trees for the next generation. But we're not being allowed to.
Staying with Mumbai, the city's network of roads has remained relatively unchanged at 2,000 kilometers. Yet, the density of vehicles has dramatically increased over the last few decades to nearly 1,500 vehicles per kilometer, the highest in the country. Now, add to this mix the use of poor construction material, and what you get is roads full of deadly potholes. But one man is trying to fix this, one pothole at a time. Here's his story.
When I first started filling potholes, a lot of people would laugh at me, saying this was the job of the government. Why was I bothering myself with it? They would ask me why I was getting my clothes and hands dirty.
48-year-old Dada Rao Bilori sells vegetables for a living. But very often you can see him in the middle of Mumbai's busiest roads, filling potholes.
The day I lost my son, that's the day I stopped caring about what people said or what image they had of me. Today, people know me because of my work on potholes, and I'm proud of that.
In July 2015, at the peak of the monsoon season in the city, Dada Rao lost his only son Prakash in a fatal accident. His motorcycle had fallen into a pothole. He lost his balance and control of his vehicle.
Whenever it rains, massive potholes start appearing across the city. Many of them are dangerous enough to claim lives. I'll never get over the fact that a pothole had claimed my son's life. To me, one pothole is equivalent to one death. It was in my son's grief and remembrance that I decided to start filling the potholes formed in front of my shop.
What started as a small effort to do his bit, to ensure no other parent went through what he had to, has now turned into a mission. Dada Rao has filled over 600 potholes so far.
My mission over the next 5 years is to help India get rid of potholes. The government is bending over backwards to provide facilities for its citizens. But there are 15 million people in a city that was only made for 10 million. Not just the government, every citizen also has to do their bit.
Potholes pose an increasingly frightening problem for commuters in India. In July 2018, a minister for roads submitted in Parliament that more than 9,000 people had been killed in the last 3 years in pothole-related accidents. In the monsoon months, from July to September, these potholes turn into deadly waterlogged ditches, making it virtually impossible for commuters to judge their size or depth. Dada Rao Bilori's fixes may not be permanent, but they go a long way in working as an emergency measure to prevent accidents.
Shifting focus now, India is one of the largest producers of energy from renewable resources. Take, for example, wind power. The country has the 4th largest installed wind power capacity in the world. The wind turbines, however, experience wear and tear with time and sustained use, and recycling old wind turbines has not been easy. A German company, Neocomp, may have the solution to this problem.
These are sections of decommissioned turbines at a wind park in northern Germany. A group of local environmentalists aren't satisfied. Too much of the base is still in the ground. They want the whole thing to be removed.
There are going to be problems. We've got 30,000 wind turbines in Germany, and after 10 years they're replaced because the technology has improved and the industry has to keep going. So more and more sets of foundations are going to be clogging up the ground. It's a huge environmental issue, and it's being swept under the carpet.
The concrete bases can be crushed and used in road construction. But the rotor blades contain glass and carbon fibers. Burning them isn't a viable option.
They give off dust and toxic gases, and it's difficult to dispose of them. The dust clogs the filters. Carbon fibers conduct electricity, and they cause short circuits and fires in the filters. That's why incinerators either won't accept them, or they charge exorbitant prices to dispose of them.
Of the 30,000 turbines in Germany, a very large number are due to be decommissioned over the next few years and replaced by larger units. Environmentally friendly disposal methods need to be developed before the wave of demolition gets underway. Neocomp is a company that recycles modern composite materials, and there are plenty of them about. Glass and carbon fibre reinforced plastic are used not only in rotors, but also, for example, in airplane construction. But what can you do with them once they're scrapped?
When you've baked a cake, there's no technology in the world that lets you separate it back into eggs, baking powder, flour, and milk. The same applies to these materials, GRP and CRP. Their constituent parts are so tightly bound together that they can't really be separated.
The company has developed a procedure to tackle the problem. It shreds the material. The resulting stuff is light and easy to handle. And while it can be burned as a substitute for fossil fuels in the manufacture of cement, it can also be mixed with paper production residue and turned into granulate. That granulate can be used as a component of cement, as a substitute for sand. So a lot of disused rotors could well turn up in the cement in the foundations of the next generation of wind turbines.
A small solution is sometimes all that's required to address a very big problem. Now, it's undisputed that water is our most important natural resource. Some scientists go as far as to say that the wars in the near future will be fought over access to water. Against this grim background, a retired artist turned activist in Mumbai is going door to door to save every last drop of water.
Save every drop or drop dead.
If we don't conserve water today, no one will be able to save humanity tomorrow.
Every drop is precious. It's a gift of God. Free plumbing service. Bathroom, toilet, sandas, kitchen, pani beh raha hai. Bathroom, toilet, sandas, kitchen, kahin leakage hai. I am Abid Surti, painter, author, cartoonist, and my age is only 83.
Sundays are busy days for Abid Surti. Accompanied by his friendly neighborhood plumber and a volunteer, he sets off making visits to as many homes as he can. They're spot checking for leaky taps and offering to get them fixed, free of charge. All this as part of what he likes to call a one-man NGO, the Drop Dead Foundation.
I remember reading an article one day that stated that if we waste even one drop of water in a second, over a month we end up wasting about 1,000 liters of water. That came to me as a shock. But at the same moment, an idea was born. That a simple way to save the situation would be to hire a plumber, visit friends' houses, and fix as many leaking taps as I could.
In their very first year of service, from 2007 to 2008, Abid Surti and his team visited more than 1,600 homes and fixed about 500 leaky taps.
We are about to complete 10 years of the service, which means we have helped save about 20 million liters of water.
मैंने यहाँ मीरा रोड की सारी मस्जिदों में पोस्टर लगा दिए और
I had put up posters across all mosques on Mira Road, specifically at spots where people sit down to clean and wash themselves before prayers. Noticing the posters, people started using water more judiciously. The mosque announcer told me how they now needed only half a tank of water instead of the 2 tanks they used up earlier.
अब 1.5 टंकी बच जाती है, सिर्फ आधी ही खाली होती है। ये मतलब मोटिवेट करने वाली बात है।
पानी बचाने का वो काम जो है हम लोग को अच्छा ही है लगता है, हम लोग करते रहते हैं।
Saving water is a noble cause and I like being part of it. Whenever I get a smaller job, I do it without charging.
सबसे पहले शाहरुख खान आगे आया.
Shah Rukh Khan, the film star, had reached out to tell me that if his father was alive, he would have been doing something similar to the kind of work I was doing.
जिंदा होते तो वो भी शायद ऐसा ही कुछ काम करते होते.
He also told me that he now believes in angels.
I believe in angels.
A simple idea and, more importantly, the resolve to see it through. That's my takeaway from the story of Abid Surti. Our last story today is also about wanting to innovate for a sustainable future. Many fashion designers are providing alternatives to traditional fabrics and materials, whether it's clothes made from milk or silk made from soya beans. Now, a British designer is trying to make a leather look-alike with pineapple leaves. Does it make the cut? Let's find out.
The leather look is deceptive. The fabric used to make these fashion products is purely plant-based. It comes from the fibers of pineapple leaves and weighs just a quarter of what real leather would. British designer Alicia Leigh has been using this innovative natural material in her shoe collections for about a year now.
Although it is a natural product, it actually looks really very stylish. It's got a natural texture to it. It comes in several different colors, and it's nice and soft and pliable. It's easy to take care of and durable.
The fabric made from pineapple fibers is called Piñatex and is made by the British startup Ananas Anam. Its founder, Carmen Hijosa of Spain, spent about a decade developing the material. Before that, she worked in the leather industry for 15 years. While looking for a sustainable alternative to leather, she experimented with banana and agave leaves before she found pineapple.
This particular pineapple fiber, which is being used in the Philippines for 400 years, traditionally to make very beautiful, very light textiles, I realized then the quality of this fiber, because it's very, very fine, but it's very soft and flexible, but also strong.
Waste from the pineapple harvest on the Philippines provides the raw material. Farmers collect the leaves and separate the fibers using a special machine. Then the fibers are dried in the sun. From then, a Filipino factory produces a non-woven fleece-like material, which is coated with polymers and bonding agents to make the Piñatex robust and long-lasting. About 480 leaves go into each square meter.
When I started to work with the factory, they had never done anything like it, because they were used to working, and they still work with polyurethane, petroleum-based fibers, which are very much easier. They're all even, stronger, and it took us a couple of years to come up to a mesh that wasn't falling up to bits.
In the meantime, Piñatex fulfills all industry standards and is ready to go on the market. Here in the Pineapple Room in London, several designers display their products. Among them are the Spanish firm Maravilla Bags and the Australian clockmaking company Time for Change. Well-known companies like German sporting goods manufacturer Puma are also experimenting with the material, and customers seem to like it.
It comes from the earth and then it goes back into the earth, and it doesn't harm anything in between. So, if no chemicals are used when it's made, it's all completely natural. So I think it's great.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think something that we're using as an industry byproduct or a waste that is otherwise being burnt or sent into a landfill to be made into shoes and bags and watch straps. I think it's a fantastic idea.
British fashion expert Alison Louis found the fabric unusual and it drew her attention. As an investor, she observes the fashion scene and supports startups that place special value on sustainability.
It could change the whole shape of the industry. It won't happen overnight, but in time it will, and help these communities in all different countries, in developing countries, become more sustainable. A lot of them is women behind it all, so it will help empower the women in these communities. So actually, it's a really long effect on all stages of the chain.
Ananas Anam founder Carmen Hijosa wants to continue expanding. Demand for her pineapple leaf fabric already exceeds what she can produce.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll bring you many more solutions next week, each one taking us one step closer to a sustainable future. Goodbye and have a wonderful week.